I don't like to take time off, and especially now where, like, I'm sort of at, the peak of my athleticism and stuff in my career, being 30, this is like, kind of, I definitely want to fight in December. I think it's no secret that a lot of people want to fight at the end of the year. So I think it's hard for the UFC to try and plan everyone to fight at the end of the year, because you go on that show thinking, oh yeah, I might get a little bit of exposure from this, but really no one remembers me from that show. Funny enough, maybe I wasn't that much to remember. I don't know, but.
All right, guys, this is Crazy Kev here, and I'm here with Modestas, Bukauskas. Modestas, how we doing, my man?
Yeah, doing very well, thank you. Just in Germany at the minute. Was just teaching a seminar. Actually, go back home tomorrow. But yeah, good vibes as per usual.
Very nice, my man. Definitely glad you got some good vibes. And when it comes to that seminar, my man, I mean, what were you kind of teaching when you were at that seminar?
Do you know what? I've actually done two seminars here before, and usually I was just like sort of teaching some of my striking stuff. But this time I brought my dad and my stepmom along. So my dad actually did the seminar with me. So we've got the father-son duo in the building. So yeah, just taught a couple of tricks of the trade. And yeah, like I say, had a really good time as usual.
Very nice. Definitely glad you had a good time, and that's pretty awesome. You got to share that little bonding experience there. And man, you were in the cage not too long ago. You got a super big win at UFC 304. I mean, talk to us a little bit more about that performance.
Yeah, man. Well, I should probably start off with saying that I did not expect to get head kicked by literally 2 centimeters away from me, especially when I dropped the guy, who's definitely a very tough opponent, very hard to read, especially with his movement and like the timing was hard to reach. But like I say, I was just focusing more on pinpointing the accuracy, as opposed to landing like loads of crazy volume, because I just wanted to land shots on him, because like I say, he moves around a lot. But I had a really good training camp for it. I trained with Tom Aspinall and his team for a load of weeks. And yeah, I mean, it was amazing to finally fight at home, because obviously fighting away from home for so many fights was finally good to get like a hometown fight. I mean, I don't know if you saw the UFC France, like the crowd was getting mad behind their fighters, and I felt the same sort of energy in the UK, which was nice. Instead of getting booed as I was going out there. But yeah, I mean, everything went to plan. I really don't remember much after that head kick. So the fact that I was able to pull off the win on autopilot was quite crazy. But yeah, literally, like I say, it couldn't have gone better for a homecoming fight. And the fact that I put on a fight like that, in at home, was good. Was good for the portfolio, good for myself, and just sets me up for very interesting fights in the future.
Yeah, no, that's definitely awesome, man. And speaking about interesting fights in the future, man, I mean, do you have maybe any opponents, or maybe who you'd like to face in the future, or maybe when we could see you back in there?
Yeah, I mean, look, I definitely want to fight in December. I think it's no secret that a lot of people want to fight at the end of the year. So I think it's hard for the UFC to try and plan everyone to fight at the end of the year. The fact that I've only had one fight this year feels a little bit like kind of like kind of spaced out in terms of I haven't had a fight for a while, and then I just want to get back in there. I had a performance like that, and everything like that. You kind of just want to keep the ball rolling. So, you know, I wanted to fight someone like I say, closer towards the top 15. I mean, like I said, I even put it out there on Twitter to fight Johnny Walker, but then someone said that he's fighting at heavyweight, so that probably wouldn't happen. Like like I say, I just want to move up the ranks. I was like even speaking about fighting guys like Dominic Reyes or Alonzo Menefield, or some guys that are like getting, like I say, towards the top 15. But either way, you got a name in front of you, you got to put them away, and then that's what brings you up the ladder. So for me, it's just all about getting myself up the ladder. you know, I've got 4 wins and 4 losses in the UFC. I want to keep the winning streak going now, and like I say, going towards the top 15 and going towards the belt inevitably.
Yeah, no, I definitely think December would be an awesome fit for you if you do get that call. I think that would be a lot of fun. And when it comes to 304, you mentioned the fan experiences were like the crowd was a lot of fun. When it comes to the fans, did you have any cool like fan experiences? Maybe meeting some fans before the fight or after the fight?
Yes, I did actually. Like, you know, not to say that I've always been like a little bit almost like kind of like maybe like imposter syndrome or something like this. But like when people like come up to you and ask you for photos and autographs, I feel like it's like a bit of a shock. I'm like, what, me? I'm just some normal guy. Do you know what I mean? I understand that's part of the process though, and I understand that's part of being a superstar and stuff like this. So this is the sort of line that I want to go down towards. And yeah, it was amazing. Like the people in Manchester were you know, they were great. You know what I mean? Like the fact that they were like waiting at the hotel, asking for like I say, for autographs and for photos and stuff like that. I thought it was really, really cool and really sweet. You know, getting the reception like that by the crowd when we were actually in the arena. Yeah, like I say, from start to finish, it was amazing. I had a really good team with me, had like really good family vibes and people that were very close to me with me like during the whole of fight week. So it just made the whole experience that much better. So yeah, I mean, what can I say? It was literally a whirlwind experience and definitely one to remember. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely glad that's one to remember, man. That's definitely some good stuff. And when it comes to the fan experiences, did anyone say like, "Hey, that's the guy from Take Me Out"?
Funny enough, no, there hasn't. Every time I mention it, it's funny because you go on that show thinking, oh yeah, I might get a little bit of exposure from this, but really, no one remembers me from that show. Funny enough, maybe I wasn't that much to remember. I don't know, but you know, like because it was quite a while ago. To be fair, I think it was like 2018 maybe or something like that, or 2019. Sorry, even that they aired it. 2018, I think we recorded it. But yeah, it's funny. Every time I mention that I was on there, they're like, "What? No way! I've got to watch this. I've got to find this." And then they type my name, and lo and behold, they find it on YouTube. And then yeah, the heaps of laughter start incoming. So yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it is, my man.
The next day.
All right, guys. So yesterday we were doing an interview and we lost connection, and we're going back into it. So I'm just going to kind of resume from the question I was at yesterday. So the question I was going to ask you yesterday was we were talking a little bit about you being on a reality show with the dating show, and then you also mentioned that you were offered to be on Hotel with Your Ex, but you were like, hell no to that one. How come you didn't want to be on Hotel with Your Ex, man?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, bro, like, can you imagine being in a hotel with your ex? Do you know what I mean? I mean, don't get me wrong. Me and my ex are actually cool. Like, you know, they're like, you know, like I hold no animosity. But like, do you know what I mean? It's just like the awkwardness and stuff like that. I don't know. I think I've got to a point in my life where nothing's really that awkward. I can make the most out of any situation. But yeah, it's just not the one. Do you know what I mean? It's just like. I don't know. Like I say, in my head, I'm just thinking it's not the one. So if I'm thinking that, I'm pretty sure everyone else is thinking that.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. I hear you there. And when it comes to that show, like Hotel with Your Ex, did you ever get any details on like what it would maybe be about or anything?
Nah. There was like I say, there was an invitation, but aside from that, there was nothing else. Like I say, unless I really wanted to go on the show, yeah. I mean, they usually like kind of send you stuff like as you go through the application and stuff like this. Like would take me out. Like I literally went through every single step, bit by bit. You know, obviously to get to the final spot. But with that one, it was like literally just like, oh yeah, like you have to do this, you have to do that, and then like I said, I just never did it. So
Fair enough. No, that definitely makes sense. And with you being on the show, Take Me Out, where were you kind of at in your MMA career? Were you training at all at that point?
yeah, I believe I was 6-2 in my career. I
Wow.
think.
Okay.
Yes, it was just before I won the Fight Star belt, I believe. Yes, it was. So, just before, so Fight Star Championship is like the main promotion in the UK that's under like the bigger promotions. It's like kind of like, well, it was mad because that fight was actually a one-fight release because Cage Warriors couldn't get me a fight. So they said, you're allowed to take one fight outside the promotion. So I kind of said, well, I might as well fight for a belt in another promotion and then come back to Cage Warriors. And that's exactly what happened. So I fought and won for the Fight Star belt. And just before I fought for that, so my record was, 6-2 at the time. That's when I went on the show. So obviously, you know, they made the whole thing about me being a cage fighter and stuff like this. You know, I came out with the Cage Warriors gloves and everything. But you know, I hadn't really got that like sort of prominent. The mad thing is that they only aired the show a year later, and then that was when I had just won the belt, and then I was just about to defend the belt at Cage Warriors. So they used it as obviously promotion. So they only aired it a year later, but then like, you know, it just logistically worked out perfectly because it was used as promotion for my next fight, which I don't know if that's really a good thing or a bad thing that was used as promotion for my next fight. But hey, whatever gets people talking and gets interested in the fight, I'll take that.
Yeah, no, fair enough, man. Like I said, it's definitely a cool way to kind of get some exposure, I guess. And another thing about you, I was checking out your Instagram, man. It looks like you got a new car. I mean, talk us a little bit more about that.
Well, it was actually, again, it was an economically cheaper option.
Okay.
As many would think, everyone takes the piss out of me because they're thinking, what the hell, Modestas? Like, shouldn't you be investing in properties or something? Or you just getting bloody new cars all the time? But actually, this was an economically better decision, just for many reasons. But the main thing is that my monthly payments are now cheaper. The car is a petrol; it's a bit older. You know, there's no ULEZ charges. You know, that we have like these ULEZ charges that are in the UK with diesel cars. And obviously it's much faster. I am a bit of a boy racer. I always have been. I've always wanted a car with a really loud engine. And I mean, you know, you can't really go wrong with a BMW M4. It was much cheaper than my previous car. And the guy that at Exclusive Autos, the place where I got the car, I mean, they really took care of me. Like I said, the guy Afi, he's the owner of the car showroom. He done me an absolutely amazing deal. Is sort of something that I couldn't really say no. And the fact that, like I said, it made my monthly payments cheaper, and the car, you know, at the end of the agreement will be mine. It just made sense, like economically, to do that. And of course, at the same time, you know, when I have a bit of a heavy foot, as you know, on most occasions I kind of do, it's nice just to hear the sound of the engine. And like, you know, I've always been a petrol head. So, you know, I've always been a fan of like Fast and Furious, you know, when they had like the Toyota Supras and the Nissan Skylines. That's still like a dream car of mine, is a Nissan Skyline. So this is like my first step towards that, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, that's definitely pretty sick, man. I'm definitely glad you got a car that you like. And speaking about cars, man, I mean, do you go to like car shows or anything like that during your free time?
I don't. I mean, do you know what? I find it really hard to actually find time to do those sort of things. Like, I don't like to take time off, you know, and especially now where, like, you know, I'm sort of at, you know, the peak of my athleticism and stuff in my career. You know, being 30, this is like, you know, kind of the pinnacle of where you're going to be at sort of athletically. I want to make the most of it, so I'm always trying to keep training and preparing for fights. So I don't like to take time off. Like the first holiday I've been on was like literally right after my last fight, and that was the first one since 2019. So
Wow.
I would love to go to some car shows, but like I say, I haven't really found time for that. In my you know, honest opinion, like, I will be able to do a couple more maybe events, maybe when, you know, when I become champion. But even then, you're going to have to work even harder because you need to defend the belt. So, you know, I can enjoy these things sort of later on in life. That's the way I see things anyways.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense, man. And with you mentioning that you're a busy guy with training and whatnot, when you're done training, I mean, what's your kind of recovery process kind of like?
Right now, actually, I've sort of, sleep is a big one.
Okay.
I never really took into account sleep as much as I am doing it now. There's a brand called HMN24, and the guy behind it, his name's Phil Lerney. He's so knowledgeable. He's like the Gary Brecker of the UK almost. Or I don't know if you like that comparison, but he's honestly like so knowledgeable about like stuff like sleep. Like, you think, oh, sleep, surely it doesn't make that much of a difference in terms of my performance. But in terms of the supplements and making sure you get enough hours of sleep and stuff like this, it makes such a massive impact. So that's one big thing is my sleep. So taking the supplements to help sort of make that better and stuff like this, and obviously making sure I get my 8 hours, taking off all the lights and stuff like this, is a big one. And ice baths, I used to hate ice baths, or I used to hate being in cold water, but now it's sort of just like a thing that if you can go over that even just mentally, then the physical benefits will come straight after that. I can be in a sauna for 30 to 45 minutes, absolutely no problem. So those things are just where you're pushing yourself a little bit mentally, and at the same time, obviously, you're getting the physical benefits. Is massive. And then obviously food, just making sure you're eating the right foods, getting your protein, getting your creatine. So it's like a whole big science in terms of recovery, but I feel like all bases need to be covered in to make yourself like optimized. So yeah, in order to optimize yourself as a human being and as an athlete, you have to have all these areas sort of ticked off.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense, man. 100%. And with you being so locked into your career right now, I mean, where do you or what's maybe some of your goals right now with MMA at the moment?
So I want to get into the top 15. Obviously, by next year, I want to not only be in the top 15, but I want to go towards the belt. Obviously that's every fighter's dream. Every UFC fighter wants to get to the top. But I really do believe I have the skills and I have the abilities to make it to the top. So I'm going to do everything I can in my power to make that happen. And whereas before maybe I didn't, I took things seriously, but I could take things even more seriously. I feel I'm at that right time in my career. Maybe I've matured a lot since the old days, and I think another thing that has helped is I'm not really searching for validation quite as much as I used to. Like before, I used to sort of want people's opinions and people's things to be good about me and stuff like that. It's like that all really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I just need to try and learn, try and improve, trying to make myself better. And ultimately, I want to win. UFC gold. That is the ultimate. That is the ultimate goal. But not only that, I want to be able to defend it a number of times. I feel like winning the belt is one thing, but then defending it shows a whole nother level of class and ability to be able to beat all the up and comers. And like GSP did, and John Jones did for the longest time. So I want to be regarded with those athletes, and also to show that no matter what type of adversities you face, you can come back and you can make a massive difference. I feel like not many people sort of know my story, but okay, it's up to me to let people know. So the only way you can do that is by putting on amazing performances, and that's really what I have my set on doing.
Yeah, no, we're definitely looking forward to seeing you continue to grow in the UFC. And another thing I was curious about is Alex Pereira and Roundtree are going to be fighting pretty soon. I was just curious with you sharing the cage with Roundtree, what your prediction could be for that fight.
Do you know what? I think a lot of people are sleeping on Roundtree. Obviously Pereira being, a really high level striker, been in glory, been really good. But, like obviously Roundtree is very explosive, very powerful. He's got that one shot knockout power, the same as Pereira does. He's very explosive and very fast. So, I think it's very interesting because I think that, Khalil Roundtree could pull it off. Like, a lot of people are counting him out, but I think he really could pull off the victory here. Yeah, I think it'll be a very entertaining fight for the fans because I don't think any of them are going to be going for takedowns. I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll throw something out the bag, but yeah, I think that'll be a fan favorite type fight, and I think that's another big reason as to why they made that fight. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to watch.
Yeah, no, it's definitely going to be interesting to watch. And when it comes to the UFC, I mean, when you have free time, are you tuning into the fights as well too?
Yeah, 100%. I love watching. Do you know what? I always tend to watch my weight class, usually middleweights, heavyweights, and light heavyweights. I like to watch the heavyweight. Don't get me wrong. There's some extremely skilled athletes at featherweight, lightweight, and bantam. All the weight classes. But I tend to watch the fighters that are nearer towards my weight class because there's certain things that you can pick up from other fighters, that skills that they do, because big men, tend to fight differently to smaller men. and it's just nice to see how other guys fight, and sort of pick up little bits and bobs as to what they like to do and stuff like this, and obviously watch other guys in my division as well, and almost sort of do like game tape, game footage on them, and see what they like to do, and then being prepared for anything really. But yeah, no, I love watching UFC. I watch it with my dad all the time. Anytime there's a big fight, I'm always watching.
That's awesome. No, I'm definitely glad you're tuning in. That's definitely some good stuff. Now, I'm curious about this one as well too. So when you're watching the fights and like different fighters are on, I mean, your highlights are on there, maybe against like some of the guys that you're fighting and whatnot. I mean, what kind of goes through your mind like when they show like your highlights and stuff against the guys you're fighting?
Yeah, I mean, I want to add to the. I don't know why it keeps on doing this.
I don't know why either.
Do you know what I mean? I thought you have to show it like this. I
thought you did too.
Or maybe it's every time I'm shaking my head. I don't know. But anyways, when they're showing the highlights, I just want to add to the highlight reel. I feel like there's way more to be done. I feel like it doesn't in any way like I say show my skill sets off to the highest degree. Maybe my last fight showed a lot more good things, but I just kind of want to add to it. Do you know what I mean? It's like every time I look at it, I'm like, there could be more that could be shown. You know what I mean? There could be more stuff that we can add on there, and like I say, ultimately it's down to me at the end of the day in my fights to be able to show all that kind of stuff. So that's why I'm excited. That's why I'm excited to fight. That's why I'm excited to get back in there. And yeah, like it's obviously it's amazing to see all your hard work being put out there, like on the line in front of everyone. But I want to add to it,
Yeah, no, 100%, man. We're looking forward to you continuing to add to your UFC career, man. And Modestas, man, it's been awesome talking to you. Thank you so much for coming back on the show. It means a lot to me. And what's maybe your final message out there for the fans watching this video?
Just you've seen me level up over the course of my last fights, over the course of my second UFC run. I've completely mirrored what I did the first time round, 1-3, now 3-1. And like I say, you can expect the win streak to continue. You can expect the Baltic Gladiator to continue to level up. I have things set in the right place. I have all my set pieces exactly where they need to be. All I need now is a fight. So, like I say, I'm just training, working my ass off. So as soon as the call comes, I'll be ready. But get ready for some very explosive fights and a full range show of mixed martial arts whenever I return to the cage.
That's right, my man. And we're looking forward to you showing off your skills, my man. And thank you so much for coming back on. And hopefully you get that call for December, my man. I think you had some good call outs yesterday. I'm looking forward to it.
My man. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for doing this always.
Yeah, man, you're the man. We'll stay in touch. Hopefully we can do another one in the future when you get your fight booked or something.
Yeah, 100%. Like I say, just hit me up on Instagram. I know sometimes I'm a bit flaky, but like I say, I do my best. But thank you, brother. And yeah, I'll speak to you very soon anyways, yeah?
Yeah, sounds good, my man. And like I said, don't worry about it. You're such a busy guy. I don't worry about it at all. I'm glad we were able to do it. And again, thank you so much for taking the time.
Always great talking to you, mate. I'll catch you soon.
Yes, sir. All right, thank you once again. Take care.